So I've made a few of these videos now talking about different characters in Marvel Rivals, their lords, the mains, making fun of different stereotypes for characters, how their mains play them, and just overall having a joke at everyone's expense, including my own. So I actually thought I'd go over some positives about every lord main in Marvel Rivals, and things I genuinely respect about each of your mains. But I should clarify before I get into the video, since I always get this question. For those of you that have multiple lords, what I'm referring to is your main. For example, I'm a Lord Groot. I'm also a Lord Loki, but I don't consider them my mains. So I wouldn't consider myself a Lord Loki main, I just happen to have a Lord Loki as a flex pick. So obviously I don't think I'd go into the category of a Loki main or a Loki Lord main. I just get this question a lot because some people have a ton of lords now the game's been out long enough, but mainly this is your main character. When it comes to Rocket Raccoon mains, you guys are always reliable to have, you're hard to kill, so having you on my team means that it's going to be difficult to dive you, which makes our life easier, and it's always nice to have that free revive. Something Rocket mains don't get enough credit for though, is if you get too close to one, they can actually just mow you down. That's something I've learned actually trying to flex Rocket more. You can start spraying the enemy tanks and just delete them. Rather than just heal bot, start spraying some motherfuckers out here. Black Widow lords are some of the most dedicated players in the game, and they cannot be taken lightly. Unfortunately, Black Widow will probably never be meta. If they ever buff this character too much, she'll make the game unplayable. But unfortunately, until they do, she's always going to remain one of the worst DPS. These lords, however, don't care, and they've dedicated themselves to this character, despite meta, despite anything. And a good majority of them are absolutely terrifying because nobody that's taking the time to lord this character sucks at aiming. Spider-Man mains are probably loving that Black Panther's taken some of the heat lately, but Spider-Man, despite the hate that you guys get, you guys have the ability to completely take over a game, pull off some of the craziest highlights, plays, and shenanigans. No one will ever admit this, and there's a reason everyone hates you. It's tough to play against you, and it's a nightmare. Magneto lords are some of the most consistent players in the game. I don't even know if they have a bad game. They're borderline unkillable, they're just a solid tank to always have, and they've personally nuked so many Cloak and Daggers at this point that it should be a hate crime. But something Magneto lords never get credit for is they have pretty sick aim too. They can absolutely beam you from a distance and delete you if you're not careful. Wolverine is a character that I desperately want to play but I suck as. Wolverine mains are the most unhinged players in the game, and they are certainly having fun this season with the new team up. Despite all the polarizing characters though, I can never be mad at a Wolverine taking over the game. I don't know why. Even if it's making me rank down, it is honestly just fascinating to watch them go to work. And the fact that Wolverine mains are the sole reason why playing tank this season is miserable kinda says it all, doesn't it? Groot's been in banned jail all of season 2 for a reason. He's super annoying to play against, but he's annoying to have on your team. The Lord mains of Groot, however, never put up a wall without a purpose. I've even seen these guys box somebody in and crank 90s on people like they're playing Fortnite. Playing against a good Groot main can be one of the most frustrating things you ever do. One thing about Namor that's awesome, and especially the mains of this character, nobody's really pissed to have you on their team. Healers are happy because dive's gonna be held in check. Namor mains usually have pretty good aim, they have good positioning. If you're not getting dove and you're not required to play backlines and anti-dive, Namor mains know how to dive themselves with their stupid squids. Just an overall character nobody's ever sad to have on your team, but nobody wants to play against. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. People want to trash on Scarlet Witch because she requires no skill, no aim. You'd be lying if you said you never had your game ran by a good Scarlet Witch, and you'd also be lying if you said that she's not good and helpful against dive and flyers. Sometimes what holds up the entire game or takes over your lobby is a Spider-Man, Black Panther, or Iron Man unchecked. Scarlet Witch might not be the best at anything, but she's good at everything. She can dive, she can anti-dive, she can flank, she can deal with flyers. She can be good at hanging just behind the tanks and helping tank bust, and stun, and be a disruptor. She's the jack of all trades but master of none, and a truly good Scarlet Witch main, not the frauds, know how to do every single aspect of her kit exceptionally. Speaking of characters that are brain dead to play, Cloak and Dagger mains. I can't believe people complain about Cloak and Dagger. She might be an easy character to play, but having a user-friendly healer is what this game needs. Do you want to get healed or not? But Cloak and Dagger mains? There might be a lot of Lord Cloak and Daggers, but I'm talking about the mains here. They're deadly. They can target flyers, they're good at anti-dive, they can be extremely hard to kill, and Cloak can put in some serious damage. Having a good Cloak and Dagger main in your backlines is an absolute anchor that holds everyone together. A good Cloak and Dagger can make their entire team look decent when they in fact suck. Nobody wants to admit this because she's an easy character to play. But just because she's an easy character to play doesn't mean everyone plays her at that exact level. Luna Snow Lord mains are some of the scariest players in the game. You're scared of Hela? Are you scared of the Phoenix? Are you scared of a Hawkeye? Luna Snow mains are equally as scary because, yeah, they can heal and they can aim, so that means they can heal efficiently. But they can also beam you down if you're not paying attention. And a good Luna Snow is not scared to get dove. They will freeze you and decimate you. So proceed with absolute caution. And that's all without them popping their ultimate. Luna Snow mains are about to come out of the woodwork now with this new summer skin update. And that includes me, I'm one of them now. I'm a Luna Snow main. And a Psylocke main, who would have thought? Coincidence though, it's a coincidence. I play these characters, I was already gonna learn them, I promise. Speaking of summer skins, Psylocke mains. Some of the most disciplined and annoying people to deal with because there's almost no bad Psylocks. This character requires a lot of skill and focus and well practice to actually main as a main character, not a flex character. That is why there's almost no bad Psylocke lords out there. And she's so goddamn versatile. But for some reason she goes under the radar, and thank God she's a pretty unique lord and main to run into, because if she wasn't, we'd all be fucked. Moon Knight mains. Do I have to? Do I have to say something positive? All joking aside, I've had some pretty immaculate Moon Knights on my team that were just awesome teammates to have. And honestly, people kinda don't really realize when a Loki is taking over your game. Moon Knights seem to be the only one that notice a good Loki that's a problem and are actually able to deal with them and mitigate them. Everyone else doesn't even realize that we're getting bodied by a Loki that's shifty, never dying, getting kills, doing great healing, and they're just running the game. But not on a good Moon Knight's watch. They ain't gonna have that. Also, a Moon Knight Lord, if they even hear the slightest footsteps behind them, they're throwing down their Ankh at their feet and spamming. Good luck. Actually, something else I really respect about Moon Knight mains and something that's slept on is, yeah, they can't really 1v1, but their mobility can be insane. They're pretty hard to track down. And also, if your team is very grounded, you lock down an area, you're all set up, and you let a Moon Knight farm, they can be some of the deadliest players in the game. You might think they're just spamming, but really they're farming their ult. I've been killed by a Moon Knight ult, and by the time I get back to the fight, he nearly has it again. The Moon and the Goon really do haunt you. Thor mains are absolute gangsters, man. They're bullies. If you get KO'd or killed by a character, then you got KO'd or killed. You're playing a video game, right? If you get killed by a Thor, you got bullied. You get bullied by this character in the mains. They're bullies. They bully you. They don't just kill you. I don't know what it is. Whenever I play a good Thor and I'm getting bashed around, it feels like I'm getting bullied. Like I should call my mom or something to call the school. Thors don't just kill you. They're not just trying to win. They're not just pushing your backlines. They're trying to take your lunch money. I don't even know if they care to win the game. They're just trying to take your lunch money. And I gotta say, I respect it, man. I love it. I love to see a good Thor go to work. It's one of the characters in the mains of this character that I respect the most. Adam Warlock Lords are such a treat to run into. They're some of the most fascinating players to watch. I have the utmost respect for an Adam Warlock Lord. Their aim is cracked and they can actually just shut down a good dive. And every time an Adam Warlock Lord goes for that big res move, it feels like a half-court shot buzzer beater. Adam Warlock mains are not scared to go for the big play. Go for the win. Go for it all. All or nothing. No fear in these guys. And we need to start putting some respect on their name. Just so happens that my name is Adam, but just a coincidence. Venom mains are team players. They can absorb damage like a sponge and absolutely harass the backlines. Their mobility's crazy and they have mastered this. And the Venom Lords have absolutely mastered this craft. They are relentless, but they are about the team win, and they will do whatever it takes. But unfortunately, in my opinion, they are very much underestimated and underappreciated. I find it an absolute treat to have a good Venom main on my team. I don't care what anyone says about Squirrel Girl, people like to trash on this character for being easy, for spamming whatever. There's a fine art to doing Squirrel Girl right. It's not about just spamming down the hallways. Sometimes you can hit an angle that hits the opponent weird. You can decimate the backlines. You can destroy objects like Penny Nest, squids, Loki clones. Squirrel Girl is not just a poor man's Hela or Hawkeye. She has a purpose, and her purpose is to piss you off, and it's working. I can't even tell you how many times the enemy team switched to triple tank and I whip out my Squirrel Girl and they quickly regret that decision. And for you Squirrel Girl mains, forget all the haters, keep doing what you're doing. They hate you cause they ain't you. And people just can't stand getting nutted on. That did not come out right, or did it? I'm going to clump Hela, Hawkeye, and the Phoenix together because it's more or less the same feeling. If you already see a Phoenix Lord, what the fuck? One positive I can say about you is you're not a workaholic, that's for sure. Unemployment clearly suits you, but for the three of these mains and lords, if you run into them, the feeling's the same. Try to get as many points and stats as you can to get SVP, cause you ain't winning. More times than not. They're never gonna miss a shot, it's gonna be very rare, they're going to dome you. Get as many points as you can so you don't lose as much points when you inevitably lose your ranked game. Hopefully you can only lose like 16 points, you'll be good, you can kind of mitigate it a bit. Them just the facts. Iron Man's the character that probably pisses me off the most in this game, but I gotta be positive here. And as an avid Scarlet Witch Lord myself, we are natural nemesis, but I gotta put some respect on a good Iron Man main. They're not just beaming the backlines mindlessly, they can use their chest beam and melt you within a second. Sometimes my team's like, yo, can you deal with that Iron Man? And I'm like, dude, I get close to this guy and he melts me. Instantly. And more times than not, he's paired with an Ultron that's healing him and is also melting me. Like an Iron Man main is no joke. They can completely take over a game. These are the times that I curse my bad aiming. Speaking of Ultron, something positive I will say is people underestimate Ultron. And much like Loki, they don't even realize an Ultron's running their game. They can heal immaculately, do a lot of damage, but more importantly, they can apply a crap ton of pressure. Ultron's an MVP merchant, don't get me wrong. This guy's getting MVP regardless of if he deserves it or not, but a truly good Ultron main and Lord is a nightmare. And they're usually not the only flyer you're gonna have to deal with, so good luck. Absolutely love having one on my team, and I gotta say another positive about Ultron, people complain that he's more of a DPS than a healer, but that's the point of strategist, and why we actually need more strategists that are not just heal bots. More people will want to play the role of healer then. Ultron's a good blend of both in my opinion, and I do feel like a lot of DPS mains switch to Ultron and it benefits you. It benefits you to have somebody healing you but also applying a crap ton of damage, which a lot of the times is a reason why Ultron does deserve the MVP despite being a merchant. I might be getting a lot of kills as a DPS, but Ultron's getting kills and healing. Doctor Strange Lords are some of the most skillfully crafty bastards in the game. Not just with their portals, how they target the backlines, how they take space and kind of just maneuver around. They're never just an upfront brute tank. They're elusive, yet they're there. They're in your face all game. And they are some of the best teammates to have, especially in a crucial situation. One of the characters that I absolutely love having on my team in almost any situation, and a lot of people feel this way. Both the Thing Lords and Hulk Lords have one thing in common. You're never allowed to relax in the game at any point. If you're the backline, if you're a tank, if you're a DPS, they're both disruptors that absolutely take space, jump into your backlines, and there's nothing you can do. You're not going to kill them. Very rarely are you going to get to kill them, unless their team absolutely sucks around them. Good luck. The worst part about these two, they're the Bash Brothers. You know exactly what they're going to do, and you can't really stop it. The Hulk's jumping in your backline, stunning you and bashing the shit out of your healers and your DPS, probably your tanks too, everyone. Hulk fucking smash. And the Thing is just rushing in and stunning you, launching you in the air, popping his ultimate, winding up and just fucking clobbering you. You see it coming from a mile away and yet you can't do a goddamn thing about it. The two kings of absolutely taking space at will. And you gotta respect that. We might as well talk about all the Fantastic Four since their movie's coming out and I already talked about The Thing. Let's start with Mr. Fantastic himself. I think if you have a Mr. Fantastic main or lord on your team, you have an 80% chance of winning. Probably one of, if not the most terrifying characters and mains to run into, at least in my opinion. I never like going against a good Fantastic and I absolutely love having one on my team. I'm not even sure what it is about them, they're just incredibly hard to deal with. People slept on Mr. Fantastic for far too long and now finally, people are starting to realize just how much of a threat they are. What I will say about Human Torch mains, some of the most underrated players in the game. And they can be such a nightmare to deal with. The fact that they buffed this character from one half of a patch and then nerfed him again tells you what you need to know. If your character is constantly getting nerfed and put into the basement, that says a lot. And to make this character work the way you do is pretty impressive. I am sort of an Invisible Woman main myself. I kind of transition between Invisible Woman, Magik, and Emma Frost now. Those are my three mains, one from each role. Try to be a team player, you know what I mean? Only us Invis players know that sometimes the fight's unwinnable and you just stand there invisibly and watch your team get massacred, but it's hard to speak positively about one of my own characters without sounding biased, but I honestly don't think Invis mains get enough credit for how crafty and skillful they are. It's all about surviving dive, and I welcome the chance to go up against a good dive comp like a good Black Panther, Magik, or Spider-Man. She also has a ton of shenanigans that get slept on. Most people don't even know an Invisible Woman is a problem on the other team until it's too late. Their push and pull mechanics, their force fields, their shields, their transparency, how they can shoot through their allies and do damage. But also, if you're going up against an Invisible Woman main and you go near a ledge, see ya, you're gone. She's been out a while now and it seems like people still haven't learned this. Iron Fist mains are another loyal and dedicated player base. Loyal to this character, good or bad, whether they get buffed or nerfed, whether their character's in the basement or has their time to shine, which was basically half a season in 2.0. People always have mixed feelings whether they want an Iron Fist on their team, but personally I always find them to be very solid teammates. The way they can defend, brawl, and survive is immaculate. Once Iron Fist gets that Luke Cage team up, it's all over. Ah yes, Black Panther, my team up buddy. I always love playing with a Black Panther as a Magik main myself. Black Panther's in a weird spot because as a fellow dive I understand the struggles of diving sometimes and the mechanics to do it. It can be pretty daunting and a lot of pressure to have to perform your combos, not screw up and not get killed, hinder your team. It's very hard to fake having a good game as a dive, but when it comes to Black Panther specifically, they're some of the most skilled players in the game. The problem with Black Panther is he lives in a perpetual limbo of, does he need to be buffed or nerfed? Nobody knows. The mains of this character will say he needs buffs and he needs work. That is because it requires a ton of skill and practice to pull off these crazy quick combos that you see. He has an incredibly high skill ceiling, but he can also delete you in the blink of an eye and can completely take over the game to the point where your entire team needs to coordinate to counter him. A character that can do that probably doesn't need to be buffed. If they ever buff this character again, he'll never see the light of day. He's already a pretty common ban. But overall, whether you hate Black Panther or not, some of the most skilled and talented players in the game. I do feel Magik mains are always a solid teammate to have, because the mains of this character are not just trying to assassinate, they'll brawl and they'll actually protect their backlines. They'll wait for the opportune moment to dip into the backline and then pull off one of their combos to assassinate at the right time. It's all about opportunity and seizing the moment. Magik is also one of the more dedicated player bases that require constant practice in refining your skills, especially that goddamn dash that can either be hit or miss for some games. If they increase the hitbox on our dash even a little bit, that would be it. That's all we need, and maybe a Colossus team up. Because although I love my fellow Black Panthers for the team up, I do feel that this team up has gone stale and it needs to be refreshed. Mix it up a little bit. Mantis mains are DPSs, they're not healers. They're just a DPS that can heal. Similar to Luna Snow, but Mantis is a true and blue DPS. And I'm not meaning that as a negative or bad thing, they're terrifying. Mantis is not a character like Rocket or Cloak and Dagger that you can just willy-nilly pick up on a dime. Like, if you play a Mantis main, like, you're in for it. All the credit to you guys because you are terrifying. Ah yes, Emma Frost mains, the true gooners of Marvel Rivals. Because Emma Frost is my main tank, I always know when somebody's filling as Emma or that's their main. Emma is extremely hard to move around. She can 1v1 just about anyone in the game, even with the nerfs. And if you're stupid enough to pop your ultimate in the vicinity of Emma if she still has her crystallized form, then that stupidity's on you. You're getting chokeslammed and stunned, probably killed. If this was Season 2.0, you would definitely be killed. To any Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, Peni Parker, just to name a few that want to ult in my vicinity, go right ahead. Please, please do it. Also, without trying to sound like I'm self-glazing, I don't think anyone's ever mad to have a good Emma main on their team. Especially healers that don't want to get dove all game. And Emma can get some picks no problem in her own right, and Emma mains know the exact opportunity then to push and be super aggressive. Cat mains could contest to be the loyalist mains in the game. These are the players more than anyone that go for the team win. They want the win. They don't care about stats, glory, their own personal kills, going for that highlight reel. They want a W. They want to win. They got that Mamba mentality, you know, the job's not finished. We won the first round, we steamrolled. We're on defense now, job's not done.
You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Okay.
Also, just from my experience at least, cat mains always seem to be chill dudes. They're not blaming the healers, the DPS, they're not pointing fingers, they're not whining. Just grinding to get that win and harass the living daylights out of their backlines. Unkillable this guy is, doesn't matter what nerfs they get. And cat mains, unlike all the other mains, don't complain when their character gets nerfed to the ground. I almost feel like they revel in it. People really like to hate on Jeff. They hated him before, then they reworked the character a bit, they hate him now. People complain, tell you to switch. I say keep doing what you're doing. This is actually a character that I find incredibly fun. I might learn myself. I don't care what anyone says about you Jeff mains, you guys are solid teammates. Yeah, you're MVP merchants for sure, I won't lie there, but you guys are always great solid teammates. I find that Jeff's always going out of their way to try to heal me if I'm DPS or tank. And you'd be lying to say that a Jeff hasn't absolutely clutched a game for you with their ult, especially domination. Jeff mains have the clutch gene, and Jeff mains are overall just problematic to deal with. I say screw what people say, all the complaints, you guys have some of the most swagger in this game, keep doing what you're doing. If I were to put Marvel Rivals in sports terms, like if I need a half-court shot, it's going to be an Adam Warlock or a Jeff, the Shark main. They have the big play gene. If you need a big play, they're your guys. Straight up. Bucky mains are some of the scariest people to play because not only are they insane and they're good, they almost never take a day off. They're there to play, they're there to win. They don't boot up their system to just fuck around. No screwing up their shots or combos, no shenanigans. They're there to fucking kill you. And sometimes I mistake a Bucky main for a tank because they're rolling in head first and just killing everything. I've had a couple games recently where we spawn trapped the other team and there was just a Bucky on our team going off. Basically killing them in their spawn, pretty much. These guys are terrifying and intense. They're intense. No laughter or shenanigans from them. Get on the heels, help them out, or stay out of the way. Star-Lord's a pretty interesting one in their mains to talk about because, weirdly enough, they're kind of rare too. You don't see like a true Star-Lord main all that much. But Star-Lord mains are like the premium jack-of-all-trades character. Like the Scarlet Witch is like the base value one, and Star-Lord mains are like the premium version one that you get if you pay a little extra. They can kind of do a bit of everything, and they're so elusive, like some of the hardest people to kill ever. Like Star-Lord mains have a little bit of finesse with everything they do. I imagine they're like that in real life. They just need that little bit of swagger, a little bit of finesse. They're kind of doing a little bit of everything for you, whatever you need. They can help anti-dive, but they can also flank, deal with flyers. Incredibly skilled players, but more than anything, annoying as fuck to deal with. Loki mains are the true masterclass chess players of Marvel Rivals. 99% of the time you don't even know a Loki is the reason your team can't do shit or is losing. which I guess goes along with the genius of the character. You gotta think like Loki and act like Loki to truly master Loki. And forget about even trying to kill one. You'll be lucky to even see them, or find them in the game. You won't even know where they are the entire time. Because they don't just switch to their clones when they're getting attacked. They switch clones before you even look to start attacking them, which makes you lost and disoriented while trying to find them all game. While the chaos is happening, they're there in the backgrounds, making it all happen. There's a reason Loki's constantly banned in high elo, he's a problem. And that all stems from Loki mains. Peni Parker mains, the true and blue Peni Parker mains, yeah, they're defensive juggernauts. They play like an actual spider, they lock down an area, and they are hard to get out of there. If you allow a Peni main to set up on domination first and establish themselves, it can be one of the most daunting tasks to get rid of them. But a true Peni main is incredibly useful on offense. Because she has pretty underrated mobility, she can be setting up mines in your back line and zipping back and forth. Or you have that pesky Black Widow or Moon Knight on a ledge somewhere, she will zip up to them and deal with them herself. If the primary focus of the tank role is to take space, lock down an area, and hold an area for your team to survive, then Peni mains are the Da Vinci. You remember throughout the years playing Call of Duty, and you'd have those people in a team deathmatch that were just a nightmare to deal with, running the lobby, killing you at your spawn? Those are now the Punisher mains, just a weapons specialist. And somehow they're able to set up their turret without anyone noticing in the most opportune spot. And next thing you know, you're getting sprayed. They can also not be slept on when diving them either, because they will shotgun blast you to the face before you know what happened. Everyone stresses about a good Hawkeye or Hela, but Punisher is often slept on as somebody that's just beaming you, landing their shots. So as far as hit scan characters go and their mains, some of the most skilled and yet underrated at the same time, if you ask me. Storm mains are an absolute delight to have on your team. If you're playing against a Storm main, pretty much 99.9% of the time, it's going to require your team to switch it up and deal with it. It is incredibly rare to run into a Storm main that doesn't require to be countered within the first 2 to 3 minutes of the game. One of the truest DPSs in the game, and a good majority of them have been maining this character since Season 0 when everyone thought she was terrible. So despite them being incredibly dangerous players, they're also incredibly loyal to the character, which means they have refined their skill as Storm. Hence why almost every single time you have to change your characters in your team comp to counter her. Some of the scariest players in the game without a doubt. Bruce Banner mains, yes, people that actually main just Bruce Banner, don't even transform into the Hulk, it's a real thing. And I have to say something I respect, don't I? Well, I respect the fact that you obviously don't care what people think of you, and that's all I can say. I can't do it. Fuck you guys, man. Everyone's gonna feel passionate about the character that they main, resonate with a specific character or playstyle. And whether you get annoyed by playing certain characters or hate having them on your team, it's nice to actually just view the positives of those mains and focus more on something good than always something negative with this game. I do feel every character in its own right is pretty viable, and Marvel Rivals as a whole is a pretty balanced game despite what people think. It's never going to be a perfect game, it's always going to need some updates and reworks, but overall I think it's in a very good place. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and as always, we will see you all in the next one. Later.